Hey there, Heather Boyd here. Welcome to day 9 of the 10-day Art and Gratitude Journal Challenge. This challenge was inspired by my dear friend Allison. She created several gratitude journals that were totally inspirational. We created a book in her honor with some of her beautiful pages from her gratitude journal. You can learn more about Allison and her journey in the description below the video. We used to work together at the local art school and we did lots of arts and crafts together and totally inspired each other. This is my gratitude journal that I created in her honor with lots of unexpected inspiration. I'll also link up where you can purchase this 8x8-inch sketchbook. I just love the square size. And without further ado, let's get into today's challenge. Today I was inspired by stitched cards to do some embroidery on photographs. Here's one I did a few years ago with a vintage photo of my dad. I embroidered a star on top. The template is in the ebook. You can use a painting as a background if you prefer. Put some duct tape on the back so that you won't tear the paper. I put a couple of wide strips of duct tape and just cut it to fit the back of your card or your painting. Smooth it out. Then I'm going to put the picture on a cork board, place the template on top, and poke the holes. You can get the template for the star and some other designs in the free ebook that accompanies the challenge. You can flip the card and go over the holes if you need to make sure that they're large enough for the needle. I put 3 strands of embroidery floss in a needle, medium-sized needle, and I'm going to go ahead and do my stitching. You can follow the pattern that I put in the ebook, and we're going to go back and forth to do our design. Just find the right hole, push it through. If you find your needle gets a little sticky, you can always wipe it off with some rubbing alcohol. I didn't have a problem with this one. Keep going back and forth, creating the star pattern. This is a really fun project. At the end of the video, I'll show you an alternative if you don't enjoy sewing and embroidery. You can keep this very simple. You can embroider with regular thread, even with wool if that's all you have on hand. As always, the sky is the limit with these challenges, and I love how you guys interpret the different projects in your own way. This technique is great for greeting cards. If you search online, you can find some great ideas and designs for stitched cards. You can make up your own designs as well. This one's pretty straightforward. It almost ends up looking like a spirograph. And we're going back and forth to make the different points of the star. If you run out of embroidery floss, you can always add another piece. We'll end up taping the ends on the back when we're finished. So don't worry if you have a bunch of loose ends at the end of your project. Once you're finished, we're going to bring the end of the thread to the back, flip it over, and clip it to 1 inch or a couple of inches. Finish it off with a few pieces of duct tape to hold those ends in place. You can also cover the whole back if you prefer. For the second one, I'm using a black and white photograph. This is a picture that my sister took at the experimental farm in Ottawa, and I'm going to draw 6 curved lines which will become a rainbow. So we're doing a little splash of color on a black and white photograph. So go ahead and just freeform the shape of the rainbow. You'll be able to see the lines better once you pick up the paper. And I'm going to do a kind of back stitch So we're going to poke a couple of holes, bring the thread up through the back. This time I'm using 6 strands of the embroidery floss, and then we're going to backtrack 1 hole. I decided it was going to be much easier to pre-make the holes, so go ahead and put it on the cork board. Poke all your holes before you get started. It's just going to be easier that way, and it'll go a little faster, and you won't poke your finger with the needle. Doesn't matter if they're exactly spaced properly. The main thing is to have them straight along the line, and we're going to do a back stitch where we go ahead 2, back 1. I'm doing all the colors of the rainbow. You can buy the embroidery floss at a dollar store or any craft store. And again, we can leave the ends at the back, and we can just tape them in place at the end. In any case, I'm going to be gluing this into my book, so I'm not going to worry too much about the ends. So I went ahead and did a little piece of duct tape to hold them in place. Trim the edges. It looks really funky, a black and white photo with just a little bit of color. This project is so much fun. There's the finished one. And then I glued them together in my book and painted the sides black so you could see the detail a little more. If you don't want to do the stitching, this is a fun idea to get a paint marker. This is a Posca pen, a white one, and we're going to loosely trace around the outside of the tree. This is a really fun, whimsical project. We do a loose outline, and then I decided to go ahead and do some shapes that will represent some apples, just really loosely. And I got a silver pen to do some raindrops. And then I also decided to do a rainbow. Keep it on theme. We're just going to draw some simple lines to make the rainbow coming up from the tree. And I'm going to color with some acrylic paint. If you have colored paint markers, you can use those as well. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the shapes with some red. And I'm going to fill in the raindrops with some light blue. You can just dab on some paint to make it look a little bit more like raindrops and to give it a little bit of color. And now we're going to paint the rainbow with all the colors, starting with red. Sometimes the acrylic paint can be a little bit thin. You might have to go over it a couple of times. But it looks really pretty with a little extra color, but not too much, just a little bit is nice. And there's the finished one. I did a little bit of mountains in the horizon and some grass. And here is our finished piece. You can get all the templates plus more for the stitching patterns in the ebook. Thanks so much for watching the video. You can share photos of your work from this challenge in my private Facebook group. I'm going to link that up below. Thank you so much to my dear friend Allison for inspiring this challenge. Have fun with the challenges, and we'll see you the next time. And always remember that art is never a waste of time.